Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back from New York City. You're watching WCS America. Of course, this is the final weekend of WCS America. WCS Korea has concluded for Season 1. WCS Europe has completed for Season 1, and this is going to be the end of WCS America for Season 1. Of course, this is day number 1. We've already had quite a few awesome matches today. Ryung, Hero, Revival, and Alive advancing to the round of 8, but now we are in the consolation matches. We have one more plane ticket to give away to Korea to participate in the global finals, and we have 4 players in this consolation bracket.
4 players fighting for one spot. One player is going to be eliminated here. Alicia took the first game from Moonglade, showing some great high Templar control, but remember, this is a best of 5.
Yes.
2 more games Alicia would need to win, or Moonglade would have to win 3.
Let's see what happens here, guys. Alicia up 1-0 in this best of 5, but never count Moonglade out. Here we go into game number 2. It's going to be on Whirlwind. Again, guys, hashtag WCS on Twitter to get your tweet featured on stream. Get on Reddit, get on Team Liquid, join the Twitch chat. I was hanging out with them a little bit earlier today and participate in the conversation, talk about these matches, because StarCraft 2 is a beautiful game in WCS America. WCS in general is a beautiful tournament. Here we are. The bottom right-hand location. I present your red Protoss player who is currently up 1-0, representing Team Axiom. He is Alicia. Showing phenomenal high Templar control in that last game. His opponent in the bottom left-hand location of Whirlwind. Your blue Zerg player hailing from Australia. Hopefully there are some Australians still awake and watching. Shout out to you guys. He is Moonglade. Of course, I assume it's late night. Is that true?
No.
No.
It's a late morning.
Hey man, I don't know. My sleep schedule in college was like, what? I'd go to bed at like...
Or actually, might be the early morning.
I'd go to bed at like 4 a.m.
Yeah, it's early morning.
I'd be asleep during the early morning, man. Anyway. Shout out to all you Australians and
Waking up
yes.
for this match.
Yes. For
Not sleeping in because they wanted to watch Moonglade. And actually, if you guys woke up to watch his match against Ryung, that would be truly impressive. True esports fanatics here. You know, Moonglade lied to me.
Why?
He said he might do a tempo speeding. Actually, not, because he said he's thinking about doing tempo speeding on Whirlwind. But you know, it's interesting. So there's a Zerg build that a lot of Zerg players have been using on Whirlwind, where you get your pool of 10, you get gas right after it, and you go for very fast speeding.
Did Stefano do this against Baby Knight? Is this the same one? I wasn't paying too much attention. But I know there's a lot of controversy regarding it. Not controversy, but like a lot of discussion about that.
It's a build that a lot. I mean,
where you save the speedlings, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and life use it versus partying. It's been used quite frequently.
We actually saw in the was it the round of 16? Because I remember someone.
We saw it on this map in round of 16.
Yeah.
Yes.
Honestly, it was Moonglade, wasn't it?
I want to say it was Moonglade versus Crank, and he won.
Yeah.
Yep.
I agree.
Yeah, he beat Crank using that build in this map.
We also saw it in Challenger League. I'm sorry. I keep. Okay.
It's used very frequently, and it's used most frequently on this map because it's a 4-spawn map. Protoss will be unlikely to scout you so fast. But it's almost getting to the point where it's so predictable that Zergs might do it on this map that Protoss players are doing things like you see Alicia. Actually, he canceled the Zealot even before he's been able to scout Moonglade. So I was going to say, Protoss are starting to play more conservative on this map. But actually, Alicia, he's being moderately more conservative, getting the Mothership Core before the Nexus. So small adjustments to be a little bit safer against early speedings.
It was Vibe versus Jim, I think.
Yes.
On this map. And that is my last reference to when
I think Jim won that one.
Yes, you are. He got a sentry out at the perfect time and put down a force field.
That was a very exciting match. And that one could have gone either way. Like the control is so fun to watch the different decisions Zerg players make on what to do with the speedings. Do they back away from Photon Overcharge? Do they focus the side core really early and try to kill before Warp Gate finishes? There's all these different things they can try to do. It's a very tough call because Zerglings have very little life but do very high damage. So they're a unit that can really go. You can either lose them all very quickly or you can kill something very quickly.
And all that being said, that's not happening.
No,
here.
it's not. Sorry.
But it is a really cool build. Zerg players, I know Protoss players are hating me, but Zerg players try it on the ladder. It's fun.
Moonglade is getting gas. This is almost the exact same build he did last game, where he gets that gas to get the Zergling speed. Of course, this is a natural reaction to a Gateway Expand from the Protoss, because Gateway Expand can have Warp Gate and thus utilize proxy pylons much earlier than your Forge Expand. Oh, look at this. Protoss is getting a Twilight Council.
That's what my was about.
This is a build that's not particularly common, at least for Alicia. And in every single game before in this tournament, he's always gone for the Stargate behind the 3 gateways.
So what's a little bit interesting to me about this is getting an Overlord above your opponent's main is a pretty difficult thing to do on this map, especially considering these locations. And that being said, maybe Alicia is doing this, putting that building in that location because of that, in a sense. Do you think that's possible? Because, you know, it's less likely for an Overlord to be there in time to actually scout that kind of a thing.
It's very possible. I mean, yeah, there's no way that's really going to be scouted.
Yeah.
Eventually, we see there is an Overlord heading to the right side, and it'll eventually get in there.
That's a sneaky Overlord. He went across the middle of the map, too.
It's a great angle.
Yeah.
And there's a Dark Trine coming. That Overlord actually might...
He's going to scout this man, I think.
Yeah, but he might not scout it fast enough.
Yeah, the rally's heading right in that direction.
This could be very... Oh, he found a proxy probe. That's so important. Finding this probe over here. When you're DT rushing, 10 seconds can make a huge difference. And being able to warp in DTs on your opponent's side of the map saves you 10 to 15 seconds of movement time. He's trying to get that pylon up with the probe. It is started, but I think it should be canceled by these two Zerglings. He's sending another probe. This is how important the pylons are when you're doing any type of gateway-based aggression, including Dark Templar.
I think the Overlord is about to scout the Dark Templar in the main base, by the way, and we see a Spore Crawler on the field.
He's guessed it.
Yeah, he sees it right now.
And it's actually a very smart guess because there hasn't been any units moving out from Alicia so far.
Really cool play here from Moonglade, identifying exactly what his opponent is doing, trying to find all those proxy pylons. There's still one alive there at the top. Also one being made in the middle of these two individuals. Dark Shrine is done. First Dark Templar on the way.
Oh, the DT. It was being warped in, but it got canceled.
Oh, did it?
The pylon got killed by the Zerglings.
So he's going to have to remake them at the bottom here. 2 DTs being warped in. But again, there's a Spore Crawler at the natural. Moonglade knows exactly what's happening. And Overseer has just now started.
He's gonna, with 2 DTs, it's not enough to take down that third base before the Overseer can get there.
Yeah.
He can do some damage to it. And actually, with the Mothership Core,
he can recall out too.
He could, or I mean, if he hurts it enough, the Mothership Core could finish it. The Queens aren't that close.
That's true.
Mothership Core is instead scouting. It's going down.
Swiping away, the hatchery getting pretty low in health, but the Roaches and Lings should be able to clean it up.
Mothership Core is now going to try to focus.
So we're going to watch a race between a Mothership Core killing a hatchery and a Queen making her way over to the Mothership Core. This is the most exciting stuff you're going to see in StarCraft 2. The Queen. Where's the Queen?
It's not.
Oh,
he's
it's
not
popping out of the hatchery.
Yeah, he's building a Queen. Interesting, he chose not to send any Queens.
He's confident, man. That should save it.
Right? Yeah, but I mean, it'll be very damaging. We've seen in the last game, Leech had a damaged hatchery. He was persistent in finishing it off with those.
Yes, you're absolutely right. Look out for that as this game goes along. But all that being said, you know, the DT opening didn't do as much as Alicia wanted to, for obvious reasons. And you know, that's a pretty considerable investment.
It's also important to note that Alicia doesn't have a Stargate. In Wings of Liberty, a lot of players would enjoy playing Blink Stalker or High Templar against Mutaplay. But in Heart of the Swarm, with the Muta regen ability, it's very difficult to combat a good Muta player with just Blink Stalkers and High Templar. Traditionally, you want to have a lot of Stargates, and Alicia doesn't have any because you open Dark Templar. Moonglade, knowing this, is making 9 Mutaless.
You know, Muta, as a Protoss player, I can personally attest to how difficult it is to hold off Mutas on this map with only Blink Stalkers. It can be very difficult indeed. Of course, as you said, you mentioned the Stargate opening. That can be a great way for Protoss players to get those Phoenixes out as fast as possible to deal with the Mutas. But without Templar, which you're not going to get on 4 bases generally, without the Phoenixes out of the Stargate, it's very, very difficult to defend the third and the main base against Mutas on this map.
And we can see Alicia immediately building a Stargate when the Mutas are revealed. When that finishes, he might build a Fleet Beacon and more Stargates going for Phoenix range. Of course, without range in small numbers, Phoenix aren't that useful. You either need a lot of Phoenix or you need to have that range upgrade to really make them work against the Mutas.
Moonglade taking additional expansions. He essentially has all the map control here. There's no way Alicia is pushing out at any moment. He needs to defend his economy. He needs to make sure he doesn't die, doesn't lose too much to these Mutas. Going straight to the main base. There's 6 Stalkers there, and actually blinking forward. Might be able to take down the Muta. No, all the Mutas stay alive. Moonglade, good control from now, but Alicia doing a solid job so far defending against these Mutas. However, this is the calm before the storm. There's 10 more Mutas in production. Moonglade is not done with the Muta play.
As the Muta count gets higher and higher, it becomes the point where the Stalkers can't beat them unless they're all together. We can see here, in order to defend the 3 bases, Alicia's having to put half his Stalkers in the main, half at the third, and then his Mothership Core is going to try to defend the natural with Photon Overcharge. That's so spread out that once the Muta count gets very high, and it gets worse if Moonglade starts to have the economy to produce a lot of Speedlings, all of a sudden, The split-up army of Alicia can't protect from a concentrated speedy Mutas attack at the third base. Moonglade now heading towards the natural of Alicia.
Heading straight toward the probes at the natural expansion. What kind of preparation is there? Nothing. A lot of probes going to die here. Photon overcharge going down onto the Nexus is not quite going to be enough. Some Phoenixes out on the field, turning around immediately, taking one out. And at this point, you need every single Phoenix alive. It's so important to really build up to that number that you need to combat against however many Mutas are on the field. We're up to 20. 3 more in production. Again, he's not stopping.
Oh, and he has a group of speedlings with him as well. Those speedlings could be joined. The third base of Alicia is not very strongly defended. If speedlings can tank the stalker shots, the Mutas can come in there, pick off all the sentries, and even kill some of those key stalkers. You can see Alicia in reaction, warping in some more zealots, realizing speedlings are around as well. He's also up to 2 Stargates, I believe now. Range upgrade is halfway done. Actually, no, he's only on 1 Stargate.
Yeah, still on 1 Stargate. A little bit surprising.
I mean, he must be worried about the speedings as well. His economy isn't great. He's been losing a lot of probes here. Each time his Mutas fly in, it doesn't look like it's that big a deal, but so far they've already killed 10 or 11 probes.
Yep.
It's because it's a balance. If you have enough Mutas, every time they shoot a volley, they'll kill 2, even 3 probes. 1
Muta, I think, getting taken out there, as well as an Overseer. Stalker's getting a shot off, but now we're starting to get to that truly scary number of Mutas, and +1 flyer attack is about to finish, as well as 5 Corruptors. So it's going to start approaching a situation where Phoenixes just won't cut it, you know, once the Corruptors get involved.
One of the tricky part about Muta Corruptor versus Phoenix is the Phoenixes want to avoid shooting the Corruptors, fly around and shoot the Mutas. So it's really this game of mobility where the Zerg player tries to always keep the Corruptors between the Phoenixes and the Mutas. It's like you're running a ball in football, you got to have the blocker in the way. Ooh. That's exactly the whole goal. The Corruptors keep the Phoenixes back. The Mutas can go and snipe a Nexus, snipe probes, do what they want to do without having to worry about those Phoenix.
You know it's a good day when Nick makes an American football reference. Thank you so much for that. Of course, we have a Templar Archives in production here for Alicia, and that could be very instrumental. Kudos to him for getting his 3 bases up in 6 gases. I'd be dead already, but I'm not as good as Alicia. So he's going to try to get enough gas to get Storm out and get a Templar, or he might just try to get Archons out. It's a very tricky decision to make. This might be a reason why he didn't add a second target, because he wants to eventually go into you know, high Templar production, but these Mutas still just having their way with the mineral lines here of Alicia.
Probe after probe is going down. Stalkers now joining the fray. Combined Phoenix and Stalkers can beat the Mutas, but Mutas, of course, are faster and can escape. More Mutas, more Corruptors being added for Moonglade. This is getting to a very scary point. He's almost maxed out. Alicia has been struggling to have a decent economy, and he's only at 130 food. Of course, he's also been spending a lot of his resources into teching. We can see he has his Phoenix range upgrade. He's working on Psystorm charge and armor upgrades. So he's going to have a very high tech army. And in a straight-on engagement, if he can land the correct storms and the Phoenixes can add their damage as well, it could be a very good battle for Alicia. But Moonglade is going to develop that overwhelming economy.
He's taking hatcheries everywhere on this map. He's up to, of course, 67 Harpsters. Had many more drones, but he's making a lot of stack defenses, which is the right move. No reason not to at this point. Most of your resources that you're worried about is your gas, because you want more Mutas. Spend all your minerals on spine crawlers, spore crawlers, drones. It is generally the idea. You can mix in some speedlings too, which is fine, which is what Moonglade has been doing, but again, I have no problem focusing on that static defense.
One thing we see Moonglade do, he got the Overlord speed upgrade so that Overseers could stay with the army. Killing observers is essential for this harass.
Yes.
Because as we saw here, Alicia didn't know the Mutas were on the side of the map because all the observers have been sniped using the speed Overlords to go with the army. Oh, look, it's the Corruptors trying to zone out the Phoenix while the Mutas strike at the main.
And how do you deal with this? I guess a Mothership Core recall might be doable, but then the Mutas just go straight into the third base, and now we're getting to the point where Alicia is having so much trouble dealing with the sheer amount of Mutas. We might see a base trade type scenario. Storm is done, but Alicia has had enough. He's attacking across the map.
Oh, massive amounts of Banus being warped in. If he doesn't have the Storms or the Force Field to deal with those can finish off the Stalkers quite easily. Muta's now going for the natural. There is some defense there, but is it going to be enough if the Corruptors can take out those Phoenix?
I think it's too much, unless he can be stupidly cost efficient with these Phoenixes. It's going to be a very tough situation here for Alicia. Muta's taking out the Stargate, which means no more Phoenixes. Zealots sprinting to the third base, trying to get some damage done, but Alicia backing away, realizing how much defense is actually at the natural expansion. Phoenix is trying to make something happen there against the Mutas, but again, there's so many of them, and the Corruptors can just turn around and say hello to the Phoenixes and start taking those guys out. The Stalker's trying to make something happen. There's only 6. 6 is not going to work against 30 or so Mutas. Alicia having so much trouble dealing with this amazing Zerg air army.
Alicia's army wanted to try to do some damage in return, but it walked into this giant wall of spine crawlers in Moonglade's natural. Even tried to take out Moonglade's third with Zealots, but the Banings were there to defend against those. Alicia realizes he has to get damage done. He's trying to split his army up to trim off any bases that aren't defended by mass spine crawlers. But the problem is when he splits his army in half, he's already got half the supply. That means he's going to have a fourth the supply, and Moonglade's army's just too strong, forcing that GG.
There's the GG. Nothing you can do. I mean, gosh, that's something that just snowballs, really. Like, you know, it's pretty cool. I think Moonglade made the cautious decision right when he scouted the Dark Templar, right when he scouted the Dark Shrine. He's realizing exactly what his opponent is teching to at that point in the game, and then he made that decision. Okay, you know what? I'm going to go Mutas.
It was a really, really great move. If the Protoss goes for that Dark Templar play and is unable to get a lot of damage done, they really fall behind. And it's not that the Dark Templar Shrine is super expensive, it's the opportunity cost. When you get the Dark Templar Shrine, instead of a faster third base, instead of a Stargate, you either lose the map control that and scallion that Phoenix would provide from the Stargate, or you lose the extra economy that you would have had if you went for the faster third base.
All right, guys, you're watching WCS America, the consolation bracket, to find out who's going to get the final spot. Who's going to join Ryung, Hero, Revival, Alive, MVP, Stefano, Debago, 4GG, TLO, Sulky, Innovation, SOS, Sybil, Roro, and Kangho in the global finals. Only one spot left, and it's going to either Snoot, Crank, Alicia, or Moonglade. Alicia and Moonglade are tied 1-1. Coming up, we got Game 3. Stay tuned.